Pope Francis is about to embark on his longest trip since becoming head of the Catholic Church in 2013. He leaves Rome tonight and will visit 4 Asia-Pacific countries over the next 11 days. CNA's Leong is travelling with the pontiff and has more on the significance of this trip.
His outreach continues, even at age 87. Bronchitis and joint pain have slowed him down in recent years, causing him to postpone some trips and meetings. But his determination to engage with the world is still going strong. This will be the Pope's first trip since September last year. He'll be leaving from the Vatican City and travelling to Indonesia, Papua New Guinea, Timor-Leste and Singapore across 11 days. His longest trip since becoming Pope, both in terms of the distance covered as well as the number of days away from the Vatican. And this trip would certainly be one that holds great significance, especially since Asia is considered to be an important region to the Vatican. Throughout his papacy, which spans more than a decade, Pope Francis had made 6 trips to Asia.
He appointed bishops from all over Asia, cardinals from every country in Southeast Asia, including Brunei, including Laos. He does it to express the ideal of a universal church, that this is not a European church, this is not a Western church.
One key theme of this trip is inter-religious harmony. Pope Francis set to engage not only with local Catholic groups, but also leaders of other religions and political figures.
Asia is becoming more and more central in global affairs, and Asia is maybe one of the few continents who has been able to preserve and develop alternative political models and traditions, religious traditions and political traditions. And so if the Holy See wants to be truly universal, it has to engage with Asian traditions that have been extremely resilient and creative in engaging with modernity.
Pope Francis has also been outspoken about issues such as migration, climate crisis and poverty. His trip comes amid ongoing wars and crises. And the Pope has, in the past, voiced out against violence in Ukraine, Gaza and Myanmar. All eyes will be on how he would use this trip and his role to push the needle on these thorny issues.
The Pope has no domestic constituency. He only has a universal constituency. And therefore he's able to say things which many of us feel inside, but as political leaders cannot always articulate. So he's in a very unusual position of being able to speak on behalf of everyone.
Despite that, the Pope's trip may not be free of issues that hit close to home. Timor-Leste, for example, has seen numerous allegations of Catholic priests' involvement in child sexual abuse. The Vatican may also need to tread carefully on other sensitive topics such as abortion, death penalty and same-sex marriages. The Vatican City, as the smallest state in the world, has diplomatic relations with almost all nations except a handful, such as China, North Korea and Afghanistan. While the Pope is vocal about current affairs, there's a fine balance to strike between religion and politics.
When it comes to political leadership, it may be more complex. You cannot put everything on the table. But for the Church itself, to find a balance between religion and politics, I think that one big effort is to be engaging and transparent.
The Pontiff's historic visit to Asia will be closely watched by the world. Observers say what may count as a successful outcome for Pope Francis include not just how much he narrows the religious gap to promote diversity, but also in how much closer he brings the Vatican to Asia. Leong, CNA, Vatican City.